Call this Committee of Adjustment meeting held on January 27, 2021 to come to order at 7:08 p.m. May I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Cooney, seconded by Vanderwill. Carried. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest this evening? I am seeing none. Thank you. Welcome to this Committee of Adjustment meeting to allow the public an opportunity to express their views regarding the proposed minor variances and consents within the Township of Springwater. Each applicant and their agent, if applicable, will be given the opportunity to present the applications to the committee in public. Additional information on each of the applications, including any presentation material, is available in the committee agenda on the Township website. Following, those members of the public whom registered to make oral submissions prior to 4:30 p.m. yesterday, January 26, 2021, will be given the opportunity to do so. Oral submissions will be included in this meeting's minutes and form part of the public record, including the names, addresses of the speaker, as information collected under the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. The minutes of the meeting will be posted on the Township website. All comments and questions should be addressed through the chair. I'll ask the Secretary Treasurer now to please introduce the first application, item number 4.1 on the agenda.
Chair, I think we missed the previous minutes. Can we go over that first, please?
All right,
That's okay.
there we go. Chair, that the Committee of Adjustment minutes dated November 25th, 2020 be adopted as presented. May I have a mover and seconder? Moved by Webster, seconded by Cooney. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thank you, Secretary. You can now move ahead with your first application.
Minor variance application A0121 by T. Milne and M. Latimer, owners of lands known municipally as 8 Carnes Boulevard. The purpose and effect of the application is to permit an addition approximately 52.63 square meters in size on the subject property with a decreased minimum rear yard depth of 6.2 meters, whereas section 4.3.5 of the zoning bylaw requires a minimum of 7.5 meters.
Thank you. Has any additional correspondence and or comments been received?
Comments have been received from the Township's Public Works Department advising that Carnes Boulevard is fully assumed by the Township and that they have no concerns. Hydro One also advised that they have no concerns at this time. The Building Department advised that they have no objections as they are working with the applicant to remediate and are expecting a building permit application should the minor variance be approved. Building added that the addition will not have a detrimental effect on the existing septic tank and distribution pipes. The Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority indicated that a condition of approval should be added stating that the owner shall obtain a permit from the MVCA for works within the regulated area.
Thank you. I would ask the applicant to introduce themselves and explain your position, please.
Hello,
Go ahead.
I'm Todd Milne. We did an addition on the back of our house unknowingly about the minor variance, like the 7.5 meters. Now we know we're completely sorry about not knowing, and hopefully everything goes ahead accordingly.
Thank you. Any members of the committee wish to make comment or questions concerning the application? Please indicate by using your sign. I see no questions. I have a motion A021/21. May I have a mover and a seconder to accept this?
Thank you very much.
Moved by Webster, seconded by Vanderwill. Application number A0221, applicant T. Milne and M. Latimer, in the matter of an application to the Committee of Adjustment of Springwater Township under Section 45 of the Planning Act of Ontario, RSO 1990, CP 13 as amended for lands known municipally as 8 Cairns Boulevard and legally described as Lot 15 on Plan 51M-231, former Township of Vespra, now in the Township of Springwater, being rule number 4341-010-003-19315. At the decision of the Committee of Adjustment, having given consideration to the applicable provisions of Section 45 of the Planning Act, the official plan of the Township of Springwater, the characteristics of the subject land and its surroundings as addressed in the planning report on the subject application dated January 27, 2021, the correspondence received and information presented at the hearing held on January 27, 2021, and the discussion on the matter hereby approved of the application as applied for, subject to the following condition. Number 1, that the owner shall obtain a permit from the MVCA for works within the regulated area. All those in favor? Go ahead, Mr. Cooney.
Through the chair to staff, just to confirm, the approval was amended today with an additional condition from the NVCA, was it not? Can you hear
Through
me?
you, Mr. Chair. Yes, Lauren, we can hear you. Through you, Mr. Chair, that condition was added today, yes.
Okay, so there are actually 2 conditions. I think we only heard one, just to confirm there, Chairman.
I believe that the condition is the only one is that the NVCA permit is there, that the application is permitted to proceed based on their other request. Is there something that I'm missing here?
Sorry, I think I'm misinterpreting the approval that was written. You're correct. It looks like number 1 is the only condition. My apologies.
Thank you. Again, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Millen and Ms. Latimer. There is an appeal period of 20 days, so we'll be working with the township to resolve that. And you should get information from the township concerning the MVCA.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I ask the committee members to sign the appropriate documents. Yes, Henry, go ahead.
Do you want us to put the date on here, or should I'll do that?
That's something I will do. Don't worry about that.
Thank you.
Are we ready to move ahead? Okay. Ask the Secretary Treasurer, please, to introduce the next application, item number 4.2 on the agenda.
Consent application BO121 by A&N Perry, owner of lands known municipally as 1 Sycamore Circle. The purpose of the application is to obtain approval to sever one new residential lot consisting of approximately 1,855 square meters of lot area with approximately 38.85 meters of lot frontage on Marnie Lane. The applicant proposes to retain approximately 2,226.5 square meters of lot area with approximately 42.69 meters of lot frontage on Sycamore Circle, containing a single detached dwelling.
Thank you. Has there been any additional correspondence and/or comments that have been received?
Comments have been received from the County of Simcoe in which they advise that the Natural Heritage Review report is satisfactory. Ainley Group advised that the applicant shall provide a reasonable use assessment that is to the satisfaction of the township and engineer as a condition. The Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority advised that the property is located outside of the NVCA regulation limit and there are no records of natural heritage features on the property. Comments were also received from the Ministry of Transportation advising that no MTO approval is required. The Public Works Department advised that Sycamore Circle is not fully assumed by the township. The township's drainage superintendent added that the property is assessed into the Phelpston Marsh drain, but at this time, no drainage agreement is required. Hydro One has no comments or concerns. The township's building department confirmed condition number 5 and advised that a new septic and well will have to be provided with adequate clearance distances to prescribed components as per the Ontario Building Code. And then they added that they have no issues with revising the civic address assignment.
Thank you. I'd ask the applicant to introduce themselves and explain your proposal, please.
Good evening, everyone. This is Aaron speaking. So yes, we live at 1 Sycamore Circle, and we came about the idea because the way that our lot is situated on Sycamore Circle, we are on the corner lot that also fronts onto Marnie. So when you turn onto Marnie, it appears to look as though it's a lot on its own. It's an area that we do not occupy now and seems to have its own natural severance because of the tree line. So it just made sense to go ahead and create an additional lot. Probably benefit the neighborhood and make it probably seem more fitting to the surrounding residences.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public registered to make any oral submissions?
Thank you, Chair. There are no members of the public who have registered to make an oral submission.
Thank you. Do any members of the committee wish to have any questions or comments concerning the application? Mr. Webster.
Thank you, Chair Gannon. My comment would be it's nice to see a severance that conforms to our bylaw 5000 with respect particularly to lot size. That's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you. Member Cooney.
Thank you, Chair. My question is through you to staff with regards to the plan of subdivision that is not assumed. I would understand that the existing lot that is being proposed to be severed would be under a condition of a subdivider's agreement. Just wondering how the proposed severed lot would be, I guess, applied to that subdivider's agreement, as there doesn't seem to be any item in the conditions that addresses that.
Thank you, staff.
Planner Lisk, would you like to speak on that?
Yes, thank you. Through you, Chair, to Member Cooney. Your question kind of cut out for me there, but I believe it was what's the impact of the current subdivision agreement with the new lot? Is that correct?
That is correct. The existing lot, which is being cut into two now, has obligations through the developer's agreement, correct?
Yes, so there would be securities still on hold for that subdivision agreement. Now that agreement would be registered because the lots are created and houses are built. Those securities would still remain on for that subdivision agreement until it is assumed by the township.
So in that regard, the securities are provided by the current landowner or are they provided by the developer?
They'd be by the developer.
and the developer is supportive of the severance since he's going to have to, I guess, can carry the securities until this lot is developed?
That's something that I would think engineering would look into in Public Works. I can follow up with them if they have any concerns moving forward with this. The comments from Public Works was just that it's not assumed. They did not provide any more information regarding how this severance would impact any potential securities. I don't know if Director Spagnol is on the line, if he could chime in there, if he has anything else to add, that would help.
Go ahead, Director.
Thank you, Chair Gannon, through you to Committee Member Cooney. So remaining securities and assumption that sits with the subdivider and sits with the subdivision is with respect to finishing off certain things like top coat of asphalt, ensuring that the drainage within the ditching is working properly, all of those types of considerations. So those securities would sit with the subdivision and would rest with the developer to make sure that prior to assumption that there are no deficiencies in the subdivision. With respect to any drainage or anything to do with this specific lot, the applicants would have to abide by any drainage plans or anything that is on record for the subdivision. And it would be up to the township's engineers, being Ainley Group, to confirm that whatever is going on the site is in compliance with the terms of any of the grading plans or any of the engineering that's been done for the subdivision. So the securities are held under separate, distinct control of the subdivider, but there's nothing that the applicants can do to offend or go against what's in the current subdivision agreement.
Thank you, Director Spagnol. Just in that regard, if the lot grading was not completed on this lot as per the approved plan, it could hold up the assumption for the rest of the subdivision. Is that correct?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Committee Member Cooney. It could, however, typically when we're talking about finalization of grading, it's done at building permit stage. So, you know, usually with that, there's a grading permit or something that's submitted to go and release those securities. So, you know, hypothetically speaking, if the grading is not up to par, it could hold up assumption. However, the township does have a means to make sure that the grading is up to the standard that's set through the subdivision agreement. We haven't heard from, at least as far as I know, we haven't heard from the subdivider on this application. I believe they would have been circulated on the application, so I don't think there's any issue on this front with respect to the severance.
Thank you. Any follow-up there, Mr. Cooney?
No, I thank you for the response on the basis that you've indicated that the developer had been notified through the notification process. He's obviously had a chance to speak up with regards to the implications it would have with the subdivider's agreement. So thank you for all the information.
Thank you. If I can direct one to the applicant, just to confirm, is the developer aware of your request?
Yes, the developer is aware. They are our neighbor, and I have had a conversation with them, but I'm sure they'll follow up if any questions are asked towards them.
Thank you. Well, then they would have received the notification. Okay, any other questions from any other members of the committee? Okay, I have a motion to approve this. Would somebody like to make it? Moved by Webster, seconded by Cooney. In the matter of the consent application B01/21 for lands known municipally as 1 Sycamore Circle and legally described as part lots 6 and 7 on plan 51M-994 and parts 1, 2, and 4 on plan 51R-39514, former Township of Floss, now in the Township of Springwater, roll number 43410300001-10773. That the Committee of Adjustment, having given consideration to the applicable provisions of Section 53 of the Planning Act, the official plan of the Township of Springwater, the characteristics of the subject land and its surrounding as addressed in the planning report on the subject application dated January 27, 2021, correspondence received and information presented at the hearing held on January 27, 2021, and the discussion on the matter hereby approve the application as applied for, subject to the following conditions. Number one, that the applicant meet all requirements, financial or otherwise, of the municipality, that the applicant provide 2 copies of the registered survey of the conveyed lands prepared by an Ontario land surveyor. Number 3, that the owner applicant satisfy and be responsible for all costs to satisfy Section 65 of the Drainage Act 1990, if applicable. Number 4, that the applicant provide a reasonable use assessment to the satisfaction of the township and the township engineers. Number 5, that the applicant provide confirmation that the proposed lot can accommodate a private septic system to the satisfaction of the township chief building official. Number 6, that the applicant obtain an entrance permit for the severed lot from the township of Springwater. And number 7, that the applicant be required to pay the township a parkland dedication fee for the severed lot in accordance with the township's dedication policy. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thank you to the applicant, and it'll go through the process. And I would ask the members of the committee to sign the appropriate documents. We're ready to proceed? Thank you. I'll ask the Secretary Treasurer to please introduce the next application, item number 4.3 on the agenda.
Consent application BO221 by Elmville Active Seniors Residents on behalf of the owners of lands known municipally as 136 Queen Street East. The purpose of the application is to obtain approval to sever 3.12 hectares of land with 60.96 meters of frontage on Queen Street East from the subject lands. As a result, the severed lands will merge with the benefiting lands as a lot addition to facilitate land acquisition for the Elmville Active Seniors Residence Project, as per the Minister's zoning order, Ontario Regulation 608/20. The applicant is proposing to retain approximately 18 hectares of land with approximately 405.2 meters of frontage along Queen Street East.
Thank you. Is there any additional correspondence or comments that have been received?
Comments have been received by the Public Works Department advising that Queen Street is fully assumed by the township. The drainage superintendent added that the property is not accessed into any municipal drain and therefore no drainage agreement will be required. Hydro One advised that they have no comments or concerns. The township's building department advised that they have no objections and that the civic addressing for the properties will require modification.
Thank you. Ask the applicant to introduce themselves and provide some information. And are you going to speak on behalf of this?
Chair, if you don't mind just giving him a minute, I think he's probably just figuring out how to unmute. Dan, I'm going to ask you to unmute and it should prompt you.
There, is that better?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I am the the chair of the board for the Elmvale Active Seniors Residence. We're a nonprofit corporation, and our sole goal is to build the Elms Retirement Campus on the eastern limits of the former village of Elmvale. As mentioned, we did receive an MZO after making application to the township and the county. We're looking, the whole campus is looking to build about 240 units in 3 phases. The first phase, we are looking at about $29.2 million for the first phase. And that would include 1 building and a common building. We're looking for the boundary adjustment to join our properties together. We purchased two properties, one from the United Church and the other from Lakelands Irrigation, as mentioned in the application. We realize that there's still a number of studies, even though we have an MZO, a number of studies that we have to complete for the township and the county, and that we are in full site plan control. And I'm available for any questions you may have concerning the project or the actual boundary adjustment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McLean. Are there any members of the public registered to make any oral submissions?
Thank you, Chair. No members of the public have registered to make an oral submission.
Thank you. Mr. Webster, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair Gannon, and through you to former Deputy Mayor Dan McLean. Welcome.
Thank you.
Dan, I'm curious about water and sewer availability. Has that been dealt with respect to the available water and available sewer capacity in Elmvale?
Yes, it's been confirmed that there is more than enough water. Obviously, we're going to have to extend the main out Queen Street to the east. The sewer allocation at this particular point, they're saying there's enough for the first phase, and with the township continually working on the sewage treatment plant, we feel that the phase 2 and 3 will go ahead. But at this particular point for our phase 1, we have all the proper connections and capacities.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you. Seeing none, there's an application in front of me to approve. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Cooney, seconded by Vanderwielen. In the matter of consent application B02/21 for the lands known municipally as 136 Queen Street East and legally described as Part Lot 4, Concession 9, and part of Part 1 of Plan 51R-32359, former Township of Floss, now in the Township of Springwater, roll number 4341030023850. That the Committee of Adjustment, having given consideration to the applicable provisions of Section 53 of the Planning Act, the official plan of the Township of Springwater, the characteristics of the subject land and its surrounding as addressed in the planning report on the public application dated January 27, 2021, correspondence received and information presented at the hearing held on January 27, 2021, and the discussion on the matter, hereby approve the application as applied for, subject to the following conditions. Number 1, that the applicant meet all the requirements, financial or otherwise, of the municipality. Number 2, that the applicant provide 2 copies of the registered survey of the conveyed lands prepared by an Ontario land surveyor. Number 3, that the owner applicant satisfy and be responsible for all costs to satisfy Section 65 of the Drainage Act 1990, if applicable. And number 4, that the conveyed lands be merged with the benefiting lands having no municipal address and known as PIN 583770380. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Congratulations, Dan, and we wish you the best for this development.
Thank you, Chairman Gannon.
Thank you. I'll ask members to sign their documents. You ready to move ahead?
Yes.
Thank you. Is there any other business to discuss this evening, Madam Secretary Treasurer?
There is no other business to discuss this evening.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting then, please? Moved by Webster, seconded by Vanderwillen. That this Committee of Adjustment meeting held on January 27, 2021 is now adjourned at 7:39 PM. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, everyone.
Quick question. I have these in my envelope. They look like they're for perlator.
No,